Hello, welcome to the Amputee Angler. Before we start this video, I just want to quickly go over what was going on for the day here. We were trying some new turbot marks. As I'm going to explain in the video to you, the reason we go out and try and find new marks is so when the usual marks that we fish don't produce, we've got something else that we can go away and try. The more marks you've tried and you know where there's turbot, later on in the year or even earlier in the year, thinking ahead to 2022 now, you've got more places where you can go and find the fish before anybody else does. You know, everyone's got these marks where they go and try. There's marks near me locally which get absolutely hammered because it's the only marks that people know. As a result, sometimes the turbot aren't there or they're not there in numbers, or you'll go out there and you'll have a really busy day with lots of boats. This day was about experimenting and finding some new marks and ticking some off, and we achieved that. We didn't catch many fish. In fact, we caught no turbot, of not wanting to spoil it for you. But going through the video, I do teach some good little pointers for those of you that aren't familiar with turbot fishing, and it is a nice little watch, okay? So do like and subscribe and give it a good watch, okay? But it is one of those days where we go out to find turbot, not necessarily to go out and catch turbot, okay? Appreciate all the comments and likes I've had over the last few weeks, guys, and I will speak to you soon. Afternoon. So we're out on the lovely flat sea now. There was a little bit of southerly wind on the way out, and it just enough on these big tides to create quite a nasty swell. When I'm doing zoomies and got the hammer down, it was a little bit right up in the sky. So trying a new mark today, as I said earlier, and I've rocked up, and there's camera's going to ski with. I've rocked up, and there's actually a couple of local trawlers. One's a beam trawler, one's a stern trawler, and then there's one of them horrible fly shooters out here as well. Now they're just inside of my mark where I am, but although that's not necessarily good news for the fishing, it tells me that the mark is, you know, in the area. Beam trawlers, they're targeting sole, plaice, brill, turbot. That's what they're targeting. Bit of monk and, you know, cuttlefish, depending where you are in the country. So that tells me that I'm sort of at least in the right area. As it happens, I've got the ferry coming, who his path seems to be right over this new mark. So just hanging about here while I wait for that ferry to come through. And then I've got the bait already, straight out in New Haven Harbour, mackerel everywhere. Got my baits, filleted a couple off on the move, because I did it on the move, all over the show. But we're going to be down and we're going to be rocking in a minute, and I'm hoping that with these trawlers here, I'm in the right area. So fingers crossed. Well, this is how clear the water is. We're not drifting at all at the minute, but out there is slowly sinking down. I reckon there's some real good viz there. Probably can't quite make it out here, but there's some bits that I threw down earlier, and they're still 20-30 foot down there. Lovely and clear today. So we're now on the mark. This is going to be the first drift down over the actual mark that I'm trying to fish. We were just off it a minute ago. We did have a nice bite. While I was bringing it up, I knew my bait had be gone because the bite was quite savage. But as I was bringing it up, there was no bait on it, but the loomy beads are on there, obviously, with the spinning blade. And there must have been a shoal of mackerel by the hundreds and followed this this bare hook up. So I don't think bait's going to be a problem today. Hopefully we can get the target species though, which is the turbot and the brill. So fingers crossed. It's died right off now to sea as well. It's like well, you can see it here in the background, can't you? Absolute mill pond today. Fishing in 225 foot of water. It's the deepest depths I've ever fished for turbot anyway. And there we go, that one's on the bottom. Yeah, deepest depth I've ever fished, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Like I said earlier on in the film, the fact that there's a holder, the fact that there's beam trawlers around here gives me a little bit of hope, because they're not fishing the actual mark that I'm on, but they're in the area, which means there's target species in the area, otherwise they wouldn't be here. So fingers crossed. Something happens. If it does, I'll turn the camera on. Right guys, we're on the first drift here. We had something on then. We're just coming up to the top of the bank and we had something on. It didn't feel big, it felt heavy. It might have been a cuttle. I'll get this one up to have a look. but it was definitely a fish there. It was getting some knocks. I did the old turbot wind down, lift in, bit of weight, and then nothing. So we'll get it up and have a look. But it was a bite. It's a promising sign at least. Nothing on the other one as yet. I'd imagine we'll get them when we come down the other side of it. If they're going to be there, they'll be down the other side of this one. It's quite a sharp, or sorry, not a sharp, but a shallow rise up on one side, and then it drops down into the other, quite shallow as well. So it's not the really steep banks that I normally look for, but it is a bank, and it is soft. Turbot obviously sit in the sand. God, that's a long way to reel this one. Alright, so I filled that up, yeah, cuttlefish, there you go. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we've got a cuttlefish. Cuttlefish followed this right up to the boat. It's a big one as well, it's a lump of a cuttle. It's got back on there again now. I'll see if I can get it in the net. We've got a cuttle here, playing about on a bait. It's on there, I'll see if I can scoop it up. Oh, we've got a bite on this one now. Oh, we've got a bite on the rod, and I'm going to see if I can get the cuttle in, and I have. Right, he can stay there because he's going to spray everywhere. And we've got a bite on this rod. Oh, pulled off. Okay, I said we might have a cuttle on. It went dead weight, and it let go right at the boat, but let's let him spin it. There he is. One cuttlefish, nice size. There's plagues of these at the minute down here. He's going to spit again. With cuttlefish, when you get them in, leave them over the side of the boat for a couple of minutes just to dispel any ink they've got in them. It's this one's unlucky day because I need some bait for the winter, so I'm going to keep him. We did lose a fish on the other rod, but we're going to go back round on that mark again and see how we get on, because it's promising signs. So come back to you in a minute. Just had a load of whitebait erupt around the boat, and I went to turn the camera on, and there was a shoal of the smallest mackerel you've ever seen in your life. Swim right under the boat, and we got a bite on here, but I've got a horrible feeling it's another cuttle. Just slow pulls down, and then you just can't hook it. It's not a turbot pull, if that makes sense. You do learn the difference after a while, but I don't mind catching the odd cuttle, and then if it's amongst the fish. But if we're just going to get plagued out by cuttles here, I might have to move and hope they're not where the turbot are on the next mark. But we'll see. Looks like a bass boat just coming on the outside of us here. Right, pull down. Only had the one fishy bite, as it were, on here now. I mean, we've gone from 220 foot to 198, so you know we are on a bank. It is nice and a shallow bank, but where are the turbos? That's the question. I'll keep you in the loop. Oh, we got two fish on here, guys. Both didn't look very cuttly. I might have gone there on the left rod, but this one's on. And it's gone solid again. Oh, got it. It didn't look cuttly when it rattled off. It took off like a freight train. This one's going again now. I don't know if you can see it on that camera there. Oh no, this one's a fish. This one's a fish, I think. Got something on it. They both took off like trains. I'm not entirely. There's something on this left one now as well. Yeah, left one's going again. 200 foot of water. That's a long way to bring up. Don't know what it is. But it's nice to see the rod go. I just hope it's a fish and not a cuttle. But is it still here? It's pulled back a couple of times, but hasn't always felt like a cuttle. Cuttle, well, so they swim backwards. You know, you would have seen them in the aquariums. They swim backwards, so you can normally tell it's a very squirting motion. But this one here hasn't done that. Right, let's go in now. The left one's going again. Oh, it's the biggest of biggest weavers. Oh, tucked in the side, but this is a big weaver. This is going to be fun. Oh, we got him in. It's a big weaver. I'll show you him in a second. It's a lovely weaver fish. And again, that tells me we're in the right ground because it's sand. They like living in the sand. Let's see what's going on with this one. So It's a lovely weaver, this one though, over here. Oh yeah, it's really fighting back now. Okay, what we got? Come on, let's see the colour. Once I see it, I'm a bit happier. Nothing worse than losing something without seeing it, and then you get all the what ifs. And this is a nice gurnard. Okay, we'll lift this one in. That is a nice tub gurnard, there you go. This makes me a bit happier now. I'm in the right area. So, there you go. Don't know if you can see that. Lovely fish. Now, I'll put him in a bucket, I'll show you him in a minute. Let's get this out of the way. And let's deal with this weaver, because this is going to be not particularly pleasant, this one. I've actually hooked him through the spines. So, I don't know how well you can see that. I am going to hold him. He's got a little set of spines just on the back. Now, I'm not going to be too worried about him, because his spines are right there. But that there is a beautiful weaver fish. Nice and big. Now, they are poisonous. You get a lot of them. This is a greater weaver. You get the smaller weaver inside on the sandy beaches. This is what they call a greater weaver. They are actually really good eating. And I have hooked him right for the spine. So you've got to be careful, because if you get hit by one, you know about it, I promise you. So I'm going to get the forceps, and I'm just going to let him go off camera. I'm not going to mess about him too much, because he is angry. And rightly so, he's got a hook on him, all right? So there you go, a gurnard and a weaver, cuttlefish, we're in the right area. There you go, he's come off there anyway, look, there you go, self-unhooking. Boom, let's get round again. So, when we're doing this sort of fishing and turboting, it's really important, you have to really get into your head of what your bait's doing on the bottom. I mean, we're going out the bank now. The bank I'm fishing, as I mentioned earlier, it's a really, I'm a cuttle on here. It's a really shallow bank. It's not as steep as ones I'm used to fishing, not as prominent. But you need to imagine what your bait's doing. When you're going up that bank, you need to know that your bait is on the bottom, drifting up the bank. Likewise, when you're going down a bank, as I've mentioned in previous videos, if you haven't let any line off, or you're too up and down from the boat, you're not going to be dragging that bait in the best way. When you're at the bottom here and you're turboting, obviously we're drifting here now with 1.6 knots. I'll lift the rod up gently to let a little bit of line off, and then 30 seconds later I will let a load more off. You want your lines going down at a 45-degree angle as opposed to a 10-degree. You don't want them straight up and down in most cases, just because it gives you a better angle on the drift. Got another cuttle playing about with this. You can probably see it. They seem to be on the eastern edge of this bank, the cuttles, and then after that we're getting fish. So seems to be on the top of the bank was all fishy bites, and all before it was cuttles. So this is a good learning curve here. We've had cuttle, gurnard and weaver, and I've seen plenty of mackerel kicking about as well. So we're definitely in the zone here, and we've gone from 225 to 195 in the space of 100 metres. So we're doing all right. We're in the right area. I'm confident that there'll be turbot here. Maybe not today, but I'm confident that this is one that I can park again for later, as a possible for either earlier or maybe a bit later on in the year. I came slightly further north on this one, south. Sorry, because I'm experimenting with a mark. I shuffled it 25 metres off the last drift. Sometimes you can go down a line and not see anything, and you'll go down just inside or out of it, and you'll pick up a load of fish just by being on that slight off your last mark. This one's a little bit quieter here. So I've dropped down the side of it now, so it'll let some more line off. Like I said, it's coming down the side of the bank. You've got to remember that what was on the bottom beforehand might not necessarily or won't be on the bottom when you come down the other side of it, depending on the mark you're fishing. It's important that you keep on top of your game, because like I said before, if your baits aren't on the bottom, you ain't catching turbot. Oh, it's got lovely and calm out here now. It's beautiful. We are going to let this one run. It's a 214 foot now, so we have gone up and we have gone down. Just registered a sharp knock there, something out of the ordinary. There we go. Right on that one. And we're fish on. Oh, fish off. Ah, oh, damn it. Ah, that's a pain in the ass. Ah, put some weight on that. It feels a bit stiff to reel in this. What's going on? Where are we? Off the back of it. Yeah, off the back of that bank. We had a fish on there. Well, we're fish on again here. And I want to say dogfish. Or a variety of. I think this second bank's harder ground. I can just see it in the movement of the rod tips and how it feels when you've got it in your hand. It's a lot more bouncy. When you're on sand, it's hard to describe unless you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to describe, but sand feels a lot more smoother. And this one here, I can feel it hitting the rocks. It feels very much like a dogfish. But we'll see. As suspected, culprit, dogfish. He's going to go back, obviously. Had something hanging off of that one a minute ago as well. There's the angles here, let's have a look. Yeah, had something hanging off of this one a minute ago. Probably another dogfish. This bit of ground here I think's hard, so not what we're after for turbot, but it might be right for a bit of a bigger baits later on in the year. Just going to check this one now. Nothing there yet. I'm going to move in a minute. It's going to get tidied up here. And then we're going to move down to another bank, have a play about there, and then see what's occurring a bit further down the road. Absolutely lovely bullass, beautiful fish. Coming out, I thought it was a bit heavy when it came out. I've got to have a rod down, keep an eye on it for me. But absolutely beautiful, lovely. Third mark now. The other two, the first one had promise. Second one was our ground. I could just feel it, but still, nonetheless, don't try, you don't know. On a third mark now, that just as I was turning up, there was a massive. You might still be able to make him out on the horizon. There's a massive French trawler going right for the mark, and he turned away at the last minute. And I guess it must just be too soft for him. And with trawlers, there are these things called doors that keep the net open, and if it's too soft or too hard, then they can fall over and it collapses the net and they have to bring all their gear in. So if they've got a bit of experience and they know it's a bit soft or hard ground, they won't go near it, they'll turn away from it. They go right up to it, but then they'll turn away from it. So anyway, tried to do a fuel top up there, chugging along here, and fuel's run out a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna. So we've got 3 large boats coming along in a minute. 1, 2, 3, all parallel. I can't see them in a minute, but yeah, we're on a mark now. I'm hoping it's going to. Hoping it produces at least 1 or 2 turbot for us here. Be nice to get the target species, or at least one of them. Right, coming into the zone here a little bit. Yeah, bite on there, look. There's something on, we've got a bite on the other one as well. That one's off, eh? I think that one might be off. No, it's still there. Something on this one as well, though. 2 bites now, double look up here, and I can only get 1 in at a time. Just gone up the bank. We've got these right at the base of the bank, and it's a pout. I thought it was. Felt a little bit knocky. That's not what we want. 4 species out. Didn't want that. I was hoping, as we all do, hoping to drop into a few turbos, but not to be. As it stands. I'm sort of come down the bank yet, anyway. About to see one of 3 boats go past me now. It's a large one outside there. The one that's south of this one is a monster. This one's a relative baby compared to what they get out here. French trawler's directly outside of me as well. He seems to be hauling now. But now I've come around with some speed. It amazes me how fast they go, them trawlers. Nice and peaceful out here though. Not seen one other angler. There was someone miles outside of me on another mark. He came in and went past me on my other ones. I haven't seen another angling boat anywhere. It's that time all chart boats go home and pleasure boats go home for their dinner after being out for the day, so we're doing it a bit differently tonight. We're staying out. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. If we was going to get him, it would have been on that first go there. It's definitely not a pout, I know that much. I thought we had our turbot at first, but it's starting to fight a bit like something I don't want. But we'll see. Ah, big gurnard. Never mind. No turbot that time, but we'll take it. Don't mind these. There we go again, nice gurnard. Lovely colours. Circle look in the mouth again. Hear him grunting. Back he goes. Last chance saloon now, guys. Getting to the point where fuel's going to be just about enough to get us home. And it's getting darker now early, obviously, you know, end of September now, it's getting darker. Sun's already starting to set behind me, and last thing I want to do is be out here in the middle of the night on a little boat like this. You know, one of those things, you never know when you're going to get a problem. So better get in, be safe. So last drift, hopefully we can catch turbot, get our target species. If we don't, then we chalk it down to one of those days that we just didn't catch turbot. But we've been to a few new marks now, and we've established where they're not, so that's always a win as well. So never mind. So I'll let you know if we get anything, and then if not, then we're going to be bombing home and throwing the anchor in for some sole and a nice comfy couple of hours fishing at anchor with small hooks for those dovers. Hello, we're inside now. We've got a beautiful sunset behind me. I think you can see it. I just stopped, had a bit of something to eat, a bit of a sort out here. I'm going to a bit of a tidy up. Low water was at 20 to 7, and it's now only 20 past 7. So you know, it's only 20 minutes on the low water. So I've got a while to go before I can even get on the berth. I'm closest in, and I'm on the mud. So I'll have to wait out here for about another hour, I expect. It's getting dark now, so I'll put some lights on in a bit. Let's have a bit of a sort out. Turbot fishing didn't go as planned today. It doesn't always go to plan, you know. We had 15 turbot the other day. We had 10 odd the day before that when we went. And today we didn't get any sort of hero to zero. But the reason why we try new marks is because if we don't, then we don't have anything else in our pocket. So when one mark's not producing, if you've got more marks in your pocket, you can dap away and go and try and pull some fish from elsewhere. One big difference today was sorry, I'm fishing a little rod behind me here with a little bit of ragworm on it. Difference today is there was commercial boats everywhere today, and I'm talking fly shooters, the fly netters, sorry. There was a couple of beam trawlers. There was the biggest French stern trawler I've seen. You know, I'm ex-commercial. I'm going to come on to another video on that at a later date. But it was the biggest French boat I've seen, and it came right into a mark I was on. And I thought it was going to come over the sandbanks, but it didn't. It turned away at the last minute, so it must be too soft for them to go in there. But yeah, it was yeah, dead today. So we're in here for a bit. We'll have a little play about. I will put the camera on if I do get anything. If I don't, I won't. But other than that, no trips wasted. I got out, got back, we're all safe. So we learned something new. We learned where they're not. So catch you in a bit. Subscribe and follow. Every comment, every like, every subscribe, it all helps me and it's really appreciated. So thanks a lot, guys and girls, and I'll see you on the next episode.